Marriott Hotel. Okay, hey, look. This is Sarah's Hotel around my heart. Y'all know that, right? Okay, peace and blessings, all that good stuff. Look, I got this book again. Okay? I want to read something. It says, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Now, the thing I want you guys to understand is that this Bible tells you a story about these Europeans when they came on the earth, after we had already, us melanated people had already been here forever, built structures on the earth that demonstrated occurrences and experiences we had had with the universe, meaning God. Because see, what you Europeans call God, we have always called Unter or Neter. We were a nation of people who used our writing, symbolism, and iconic expressions without vowels because we were smart enough to implement a system of just knowing. That means that we started our children, their education system, when they were still in the womb of their mothers because of us just knowing that everything the mother ingested through any of her senses was available to the developing child inside of her uterus. So we was very knowledgeable about having a society that was so righteous that even a small child inside of his mother can get nothing ingested inside of his psychic about how to exist once it comes out of that realm of existence or that time and space dimension. It will come out with the true knowledge of who it should be and knowing its father already because of its vibrative impressions that the child received from the relationship that the mother is having with the father that expresses to the child the possibility that this is probably the two people that joined my energies together to create me. That is just something that you will know spiritually, which is naturally. So we called our universal existence of deity, meaning the spiritual existence of everything, all the elements, all the people, all the flowers, all the birds, all the trees, everything. Nothing was considered to be other or objective to self or objectified by self. We knew self as being God and everything that self could have an interaction with as being God. That was our expression of how the universe worked, and this is what we put in stone all up and down all of the geographical existences where we found ourselves inclined by sunlight to put such structures. So now the people come on the earth later and find this greatness in us, but they want to steal this feat of accomplishments from the true accomplishers and claim it for themselves. And thus now we have a world that's set up on hypocrisy, including the findings of your belief and your spiritual guidance system that you know yourselves have. This right here, this book right here, that you all know yourself has guided you all down a system of actions that make you all more likely than anyone, the people that will be the main actors and characters in this book of Revelation that is on the receiving end of punishing type of energies from your creator God, but your creator God being something totally different than the imagined fashioned image of God that you done put together for yourself. That will be the same unjust, biased, opinionated, and nowhere near equal, and always offensive to opposition, whether it be obvious that this opposition is not guilty, still find it in their best interest to oppose the moral road of fairness and equality, only to bombard the masses with a system of repeated corrupt decision making in the seats of have and have not arenas. Okay, so the corruption is the reason why I call this organized crime. That I'm demonstrating a whole lot of things about organized crime to prove that the corporate system of our government have always been and continue to be today the corporate gangsters who implemented the strategic actions in Europe on you European people to shape and mold you guys into becoming the unaware group of harassing infidels. And I don't say that to stir up any more animosity than I know I've stirred up already, but the fact that you guys can't see the authenticity in me claiming to you that I am both a prosecutor attorney as well as a defense attorney, because they know that I come here with a heart that's going to be pure and that's going to stand on what's righteous more than anything. Now, I can't get myself down here involved with being a racist and overlook the fact that so what if these Europeans did everything that they've done. It does not give excuse to the melanated people for all following them and becoming as big a culprits and all this craziness as they are. But if I want to say, well, the melanated people were all victimized by a system of harassment that coerced them into being the same as the people who coerced them, forced them to mimic their behavior. I can just very well say that, but then at the same time, I can say that about the group of people who coerced this strange set of ritualization on these melanated people, understanding that the same type of activities had been coerced onto them by another group of coercers. Okay, and I know this. And so if I want to draw a conclusion on how to deal with this, the best thing I would do in the defense of everyone on the planet, and including myself as well, because I'm always under scrutiny to see if I'm being fair and if I'm following proper procedures and if I'm just the proper person to be considered for any future jobs that might come up that I probably will very much be well involved with ascertaining. So the reason I'm here doing the things I'm doing right now is because I just like the way that I get down. It's not arrogance. It's just a system of knowing what you got to work with. And what I got to work with right now is that you all, even though you don't want to come straight out and admit that you have been perpetuating organized crimes with the help of your government and the help of the conglomerate of your diluted skin complexions that you all gravitate toward as a collective oneness, with all strategizing knowledge of the strategic collection of the wealth in the desired objective of neutralizing and reducing all non-white people to be your servants. So we know that. We all do. But we also know at the same time you all do that, you get help from the other black people involved in this world that help you all perpetuate, as well as white people that help other white people perpetuate it. So it's a national thing. More than national, it's a global thing, as the way the people that's victimized the most is the melanated people because of sheer large numbers and being the genuine occupants, residualized, if you will, recipients of the planet. Even after such atrocious denumbering of us has occurred, we still outnumber any other nationalism on the planet. Us being really the launching of all nationalism makes even the people who hesitate to see the true existence inside of our melanated existence, nonetheless, that's who they be. So again, we're talking about the corporations that has demonstrated all the evil on earth to brainwash and corral everyone into becoming cattle as well as chattel property, and this being the biggest too. So I want to read something from here like I was doing, show you how this Bible can make a fool out of you if you're not wise enough to see the contradiction. Now what I'm saying to you is that I believe this Bible was written way before you Europeans got a hold to it. But it was not written as this Bible. It was written as information of past occurrences of us melanated people that we put on temple walls forever. Egypt was just a library of all the events that had happened all over Africa way before Egypt was even thought of being built. All up and down the Nile Valley there were civilizations as great as Egypt that go back so far that the remnants of them is just crumbled pieces of stone on the ground. This book, Revelation, tells you about civilizations that will be destroyed, where not one brick will be left standing up on the other. So when you read all this stuff in Revelations like we're going to be going through, I want you to understand the true reality of a universe punishing system That's all introduced at the eradication of people responsible for destroying history, whose lineages go so far back that even the elements of the earth despise these people, and has lent a hand, more than a hand, lent everything of spiritual essence to assist in the eradication of the people that come out here to eradicate her children. How dare you? As I sat here and watched you do that, and you threw all these intoxicating solvents into me and destroyed the fish and the air and the birds and the flowers and everything that could get everything pissed off at you in the universe, including these light ships that I tell you is in constant connection with me, feeling every emotion that I have, and giving me a lot of the stuff that I say. To say 99% of the stuff that I say come from my connection of information that comes from me through sunlight sigils, as well as moonlight sigils, sigils from stars, sigils from light bulbs, sigils from other people, sigils from drinks of water, sigils from air molecules. All these things come at me as traces of information that pretty much orchestrates and writes out the spillage of words that's available to all the viewers out there in YouTube land. Alright? So now that I've said that, let me go ahead and read this to you, okay? It says, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must surely come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bare record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ and of all things that he saw. So, some guy named John said this is what he saw. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's nothing today that suggests that we all should be following a system of writing a book that is so old as to and then these people, just because they tell you they're the children of God and that they should forever have the privilege of only their book being allowed to be a writing of God. When I'm sitting here telling you everybody right now, well, you know, the God that they talk about did all these miracles for them back in the day. Maybe did, but let me tell you about the stuff that's going on with me right now, with the sun making these X's and my car flipping over and everything, and my body completely regenerating all its cells and all the stuff that I know has been going on that I've been trying to tell people about. And I've been writing a book and this and that and everything. But it's probably, as long as the system of government stay the way it is, it probably will be a book that get discouraged, and I'll be the demon and the bad guy, you know, because I come out and talk about all the abortions that done happened, and all the wars, and all the mistreat of the women, and all the mistreat of the children, and all the drug abuse, and all the homosexuality, and all the false incarcerations, and all the religious dogma, and everything that's dealing with this book, giving it all permission, and saying a lot of it is ordained by God, as punishment to people for not loving God or loving another God. And all the stuff that's in here, I'm going to point out to you how it's all brainwashed. And it's all really prophecies that we had written into the stone wall structures because we knew what would happen because it had happened before. So it's easy to predict what will occur next year by what happened this year and by your writing down what happened last year and the year before that. So once you have a system of writing down these things, you can have occurrences of things that come in patterns and scheduled events that you notice to be synonymous with last year or 5 years ago. And this is how farmers got to become the skilled farmers that they were by planting almanacs. I think that's what it's called. Almanacs and calendars and stuff like that. So there goes the book. It said, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So now, if this book is 2,014 years old, or however old this Bible is, since King James wrote it, and the Bible before that, and the Bible before that, that means that ever since these things got put into circulation, the time at hand that he's talking about being at hand that long, which probably can suggest to you that nothing really matters until the time that you die, if you die. And so what's really important is if you can establish immortality or not. And because if you can establish immortality, you establish your Godhood and know yourself to be God. And once you know yourself to be God, you can make God things happen. Like people won't understand.